The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Hey, and welcome to another edition of Al Young Show. And as usual, I have my co-host with me, Sergeant WP.
Hey,
Denise.
how you guys doing out there today? And it's good to be back. But of course, you know, with Memorial Day coming up, we got a lot of veterans out there that we just want to recognize. And with all the scam that's going on with the VA hospitals all over, it's just, we just hope that they truly have a happy Memorial Day.
Yes. Well, you know what? Listen, it's only gotten worse this week. You know, now there's another VA, and it's happening right here in our own area. You know, so it's under the gun.
Well, you've got to understand, Al. You know, once the light is shined on one VA hospital, all the VA hospitals are going to be looked at.
Well, of course. I mean, because anytime you have something on this proportion. Let's just kind of look at it. You have veterans who have been put on lists, and then no one knows about what's going on, and then they keep not getting any care, and then people start dying, and as a result of bad management or what have you. You know what? I realize right now there are a lot of us that are out there saying, okay, let's just fire everybody from the top and start all over. Is that really going to solve the problem if you fire everybody from the top? Because if there is a problem and people don't really know about it, and then once they get their hands on it, can they actually do anything? Or if you just bring in new people right away and say, okay, fix it, is it not the same thing? Because if the present administration, when I say administration, if the man at the top, the person who's over the VA itself, Shinseki, if he didn't know anything about it, then apparently it was kept very quiet.
Well,
and a lot of times, like I'm saying, a lot of things, no one knows what's going on until something comes out.
Well, I know that Mr. Eric Shinseki said that he's mad as hell, and he has every right to be angry. These are the people that serve this country, that fought for this country. And we're getting this justice because they're hiding the list or waiting list for the veterans to be seen. Typically, there's a 14 to 30 day period in which a veteran should be seen for an appointment.
Well, yeah, and then, but even that, a lot of times what you're looking at, though, if you've got a bad company commander, let's just put it this way, and then no one knows what's going on in his company. I mean, I always say, listen, yeah, I think every one of us always say, let's start at the top, and let's get rid of everybody at the top because they should have known. But can you have known everything when we don't even know all the stuff that goes on in our own homes?
Well,
and that's how I look at it. Listen, when you have loss of life, like they did with all of these veterans, and when you have bad service, and if there are more than one or two VA hospitals, until you actually get something being filtered up to you, how are you supposed to know? And then what I'm looking at also is, hey, this is becoming the time for re-elections. And for one group to be recognized while another group isn't recognized. So is this a thing about politics right now that we're taking something that should be a thing where we're looking out for veterans? Are we going to turn it into a political circus?
Well, what's going on is a lot of numerous whistleblowers are coming forward. And they're coming forward now, yes, because it might be election time. I don't know why. But what I would say to a lot of the VA supervisors and administrators out there in these various VA hospitals, start looking at your own personnel and finding out what's going on and try to clean up before they get to your VA
Well, you know,
hospital.
it's not a matter of cleaning up, because if you're dirty, you're dirty. And I do hope if there's people out there who are not taking care of business, they get caught. I want them to get the full blunt of what has happened. Here's what I look at. VAs are here to take care of people who have taken care of the United States. Okay? These are the people who put their lives on the line, men and women, to make sure that this country maintains its standards. And then once they've done their job, you're supposed to take care of them. And if you're not taking care of them, and then you're causing them to lose their life when they didn't lose it on the battlefield because they're waiting to be seen or they're getting improper care, that no, there's no way in the world you can say that's good, or that, hey, people are doing their jobs, but they're not doing it very well. No, those people should go. There's no way that I could look at it and say they shouldn't leave.
Well, I just want to read to our audience a short paragraph of what's happening in our own backyard here in Florida. According to CNN, an audit team was sent to the Malcolm Randall VA Hospital in Gainesville, Florida, and they discovered a patient list needing follow-up appointment that was hidden. It was not in the VA's electronic computer system. So I say this to say that VA hospital in Tampa need to find out if there's such a list that exists in our VA hospital before it gets to Tampa.
Well, you know what? I don't think it's going to be a matter of anybody looking, because listen, once there is blood, you can bet it's like a shark smells blood. I think that people are now going to be looking. Every VA in the world is going to be under the scrutiny of the founding people. And when I say founding people, everybody at the top is going to be looking at everything at the bottom.
Well,
and everybody has a report up.
Well, Al, they should, because if it's like, you're the parents in your house, and if there's something happening in your house and you don't know about it, you think they're going to go to the kids? No, they're going to go to the parents, because you're the head of the household. Well, it's the same thing with the VA hospital. The administrators, they depend on the administrators to know what's going on in their facilities. And if they do not know what's going on, then you need to shake them up, because they're not doing their job.
It's a thing that I'm looking at where people are just kind of, listen, you know what? The one group of people that are never protected, that always get the blunt of everything, is the whistleblowers. Because that's why they're afraid to come forth.
Yes.
Because what protection, every time I look in the paper about somebody blowing the whistle about something, they are the ones who get the axe. They're the ones who get hurt in the long run. Yeah, so my whole thing is, if there were things out there really protecting, I mean, in place, and not just to say, well, yeah, we're going to protect you, but then when it comes down to protect them, they get no protection, there would be a lot of things that would have come up long before all of this, and there wouldn't have been people losing their lives. There wouldn't be people who right now feel that, hey, the worst thing in the world is to go to a VA because I can't get what I want. But, you know, I'm kind of more on the fact that whistleblowers in these facilities or wherever else, or just in general, listen, if something's wrong, well, why not know it? Because then when everything goes wrong, somebody goes, well, you know, there was a whistleblower, but he got fired, or this person got fired, or anything, and they've been silenced. Then when it all comes out and hits the fan, everybody starts running around like, well, gee, we should have known. Well, your main safety valve, you're not protecting.
Yes. And, you know, I have to say to our whistleblowers out there, especially in Phoenix, Arizona, I commend you for telling what happened. Our veterans need to be protected. They need to be seen. They need to be taken care of. They fought for this right. It's not something that's being given to them. They earned it. So we're saying that, I thank you for shining the light that there are veterans out there that needs help, medical assistance. It's unfortunate that we lost so many veterans because there were people out there that just weren't affording them the opportunity to be seen by medical staff. So,
when you get so many people and listen, you're understaffed or you can't handle certain things, you know what? Why not let someone know, hey, listen, these are the problems we're having instead of trying to hide it? Because once you hide it and it does come to light, look what's happening.
Yes.
And why do people always have to lose their life before the things that we need to correct get corrected? Again, I go back to a traffic signal. They're not going to put up a traffic signal until a couple people die. Then all of a sudden, you know what? We do have a problem. People may have complained about it the whole time, but nothing happens until someone dies.
But I just want to encourage my veterans out there. Don't let this be a deterrent from going to the VA hospital.
No, definitely
Please,
not.
I ask you not to. Because there are people out there that genuinely care about veterans and want to help.
Well, you know what? As we always say, I think the best thing going is, listen, if you got a problem, go to the VA. And if someone's not helping you and they continuously don't help you, then you just keep complaining like crazy. Go places where you know people are listening to you.
This is one time I say it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. So I tell my veterans out there, especially if you don't have another facility to go to the VA hospital, because especially now that the light is being shined or shone on the VA hospital, they're going to make sure that you get the very best of health.
Well, my whole thing
care.
They should have been going to the VA anyway, and we keep saying go, 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 go. Listen, if you're a vet, you don't have the things that, let's say you can go to another facility or an outside, whatever. That's what the VA is set up for. It's set up for veterans. It's set up to take care of those people who deserve it. And when this kind of stuff happens, even though people have been saying for a long time, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, now, listen, somebody's got to do something. And my whole thing is, well, okay, now the ball is in the court of someone, and, what's going to happen? So if we fire the head of the VA, my whole thing then is, are we going to get anything done?
No.
Or are you just going to make this a political game, and then, you got your two sides fighting, and they say, well, we got rid of somebody, let's put somebody else in, and if nothing changes, then what have you done?
No, I don't always say, we can't be so quick to want to fire someone. What we do is we make him accountable for whatever has to be fixed. So I say that Mr. Shinseki should shake up all these VA hospitals, make your administrators accountable, hold them accountable. They get paid well. Make them accountable for the veterans' lives.
Well, you know what? Right now, people want blood. That's all that's on the table is blood, 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 blood.
But you put a new person in there, he has to now learn the system, learn what has to go on.
But it's like anything. I'm trying to figure out, is this going to be a political thing instead of a thing where we're actually interested in making sure that veterans get the best care, the best everything that they get, instead of just saying, okay, let's do this. Let's throw snowballs at one another and see what happens. My whole thing is I'm not worrying about so much always firing people. A lot of times, yes, if the guy who is directly responsible for, let's say, a VA facility, and he has to know that certain things are going on, or has to see the complaints. Because veterans, one thing I can say about veterans, they will complain.
Yes.
Okay? Now, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And if there are so many complaints coming about one particular place, someone needs to be looking into it. And if they fail to do that, then, right there is where, it should stop.
Well, I think a lot of these secret lists come about because of the manpower issue that's going on. And that's throughout. Everybody's cutting back and everybody's downsizing. But you cannot afford a veteran not to be seen by medical staff because you don't have the personnel. So, we just need to get a handle on how they're going to address it. But I don't think firing Mr. Shinseki is the solution.
Well, my whole thing, I'm saying my whole thing all the time, but look, there's so many things, so many facets that are going on here that people really need to know exactly what's coming out. When it comes out, do we just rush in, say, fire everybody because, he's under this particular watch, or do we say, go in, fix the problem, get it done, make sure that people's lives are not at stake? Yes. Right now, people's lives are at stake. Now, of course, it's going to be, and I know it's, going to be a political ball game. I know it. It's, they like to make light of a lot of things in the sense that, well, if we had this guy in or we had that guy in, it should be. And then the different parties get in and they start talking about, well, because we feel this way, and we who? Well, are they veterans?
No.
Or is it a bunch of people who are jumping up saying, we feel, it's just so it becomes political?
Well, the only thing I think that will correct some of our issues with the various VA hospitals, we have to go back and now do audits. We have to make people accountable, hold them accountable. Because when you're being held accountable, then you know that you are being looked at. You just don't know when you'll be looked at.
Well, now that this has come to light, I think every VA hospital, everything to do with the VA is going to be under a microscope. Well, because listen, when it started one place, it's like anything, it spreads. And when healthcare is found lacking in A, it's going to be B, C, and D also.
Yes.
So they're going to start looking. So I don't think anybody right now can say that their particular facility is not going to be looked at. And if we just name names, I think at James Haley, since it's the largest one in the United States and the busiest one in the United States, guess what? You can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be looking at Tampa, St. Petersburg. If they're looking in Orlando, you think they stop not looking here?
No.
They're here because if you got the main facility, and you're saying, well, the main facility is okay. No, they're going to be going through that place like with a fine-tooth comb and looking at everything. But listen, the only thing that I would love to see is that there are so many VA hospitals that come out unscathed and that they can say, hey, the care is really great. People are being seen. Then you know that the care that you're getting is what you deserve to get as a veteran.
Well, also,
and we can't even say veterans. We got to say veterans and active duty because there's a lot of active duty people at these hospitals.
Yes.
So, we just want everyone to get the best care. But I'd rather for them to be looking at everybody and look under every little rock and crevice that they can to find any discrepancies.
Well, they're going to need the manpower to do that. Well, and that's probably part of the problem.
Well, you know what?
It's the manpower.
Listen, it might be the manpower at the hospitals, but you can bet it's like an IG. Whenever you have an IG complaint, now the IG comes and checks out everything, and hopefully they leave no coin or no stone unturned. And I think this is what's going to happen here because there are just too many. And listen, one of the main people at the forefront, American Legion. And if you look at what their individual is doing, he came right out and said from the very beginning, hey, listen, let's get things done. Hey, we want people to be accountable. They want heads to roll, but I think everybody wants heads to roll, but I just want to make sure that when heads roll, let's make sure it's the right heads. Because sometimes, like anything, there's collateral damage, which shouldn't be, but it happens.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're going to do something, let's do it thoroughly and make sure that the right people are still in place that are actually doing a job. Because, hey, listen, if you got people who are not doing a job, then yes, we need to get rid of them. But at the same time, let's do it to where when all the smoke clears, is it the right decision that you made? Or in the end, no, well, we could have done it a different way because we got hasty and we wanted to start saying, let's just start firing the whole world. It's sort of like whenever they have a rift, in the military. You know how many really great people they get rid of because, hey, we need to get rid of people.
Yeah.
And let's do this. And that doesn't always mean that as the smoke clears, you've got the best people in place because a lot of the best people, you rifted.
Well, I truly hope that Mr. Shinseki do right for our veterans. Go visit these VA hospitals. Speak with their administrators. Look at their books. Well, he can't look at everyone, but have a team, not necessarily the secretary himself, but have a team that goes out and do these inspections. I mean, because
I know it is.
Pretty soon, there's going to be a lot of heads rolled, and if your VA hospital falls under that microscope, you might want to get ahead of the game and start looking for a new job because you're going to be replaced. Because you cannot compromise a veteran's health and welfare because you don't want to do your job.
Well, if you have a job, and it's not so much that they may not want to do their job, it's maybe that, listen, hey, there's a lot of things lacking and I can't handle it. If you can't handle it, what is that? Get out of the kitchen? If you can't handle the fire,
right. If
just
you
get
can't
out
handle
of the
the
kitchen.
heat, you got to get out of the kitchen.
So
I say to all our people out there, if you have cooked books, I've never heard of that before, but if you're cooking the books by hiding, veterans' appointments, by having these secret lists, that's not a good thing, and you might want to make some corrections to that.
No, I don't want them to correct that. We know what I'm looking at. Think about this. People start correcting stuff after the fact. That still you did it to begin with. You shouldn't have been doing it. Hey, listen, you were wrong, and that's what I'm looking at. The fact that, hey, you know what? If you were stealing something, and then you got caught, you can say, well, now I'm going to change my life. Okay, well, it's too late for that one part, okay? And if your life depended on it, well, you just lost part of it because you're going away.
Yes.
Okay, so anybody was cooking the books, listen, I don't have any sympathy for them. My whole thing is, if you're not taking care of business, because you're there to take care of business, you're there dealing with people's lives, then you need to go.
But also, it's not just the whistleblowers. The doctors are speaking out that they are not seeing, there are patients' list that's being hit.
They've been worrying about, listen, if I say whatever, my job's on the line. And a lot of times people look at the fact that, well, listen, yes, I'd like to help you. But, if I say so and so and so and so, that's going to put me in trouble, and I don't want to lose my job because I like my job. That is where the thing about whistleblowers come in and everybody else, because you know what? Hey, we wanted to say something, but guess what? I know doggone well if I did, whose job is on the line. Now, I'd like to help people, but I also like to eat. So I think there you have no incentive for whistleblowers a lot of time unless it's somebody who just says, you know what, the heck with everything. I'm going with what I got, and that's it. I'm putting it all out there, and wherever the chips may fall, that may it be. But still, whistleblowers, to me, are
they get the blunt of the fact.
But I just think that you're silencing a thing that really shouldn't be silenced. I look at it as a little movement of people who are saying, yes, this is wrong. Here we're putting out either a product or a service that's inferior, that's not right, that's contaminated, and we're not going to say it. Then when people deal with it and everything goes wrong, then all of a sudden everybody wants to say, now it's time to do something. There were some whistleblowers, but they were silenced real quickly. Why do you want to do that? And I mean, a lot of people may say, well, whistleblowers are bad, but bad to who?
Well, just remember out there that there are still some VA hospitals that want to do the right thing, that are doing the right thing. And for those of you who are not, you're going to get caught because the heat is coming down on Mr. Eric Shinseki, and he's mad as hell. Well, that's his words, not mine. But the veterans we need need you to do the right thing for our veterans out there who have fought so hard and so long for this country. And the least we can do is to ensure that they get the proper medical attention that is needed. So,
Well, you know what? The general himself got wounded. You know,
Yes.
he's a veteran who was wounded. You know, here you got, so he knows about the healthcare system. And, you know, I'm hoping, I'm hoping that in the end, when the smoke clears, that he can do a good job. If not, then yeah, get rid of whoever isn't doing a good job. If you're just jumping on him because, hey, let's do something to make it look good, then I don't agree with that. Because people like to jump in and always say, let's get rid of everything, let's make it look good, so we come out looking good ourselves. I don't always agree with that. And if it comes down to a scapegoat, then that's bad also, because, well, we got to pin it on somebody. Are we going to pin it on the right people, or are we just going to start doing things just to make things look good? And looking good is not what it should be about.
well, CNN has surely got their hands in the pot, and they're making sure that they highlight as these
Everywhere.
veteran hospitals, you know, come to light. They're putting it out there, and you're gonna be known if your hospital falls into that, melting pot of disaster. But as we approach our Memorial Day festivities next week, I ask that each and every veteran out there be safe. Think safety, as we would say, first. Continue to go to your local VA office and seek the help that you so deserve. And to our advocates out there, listen to our veterans. They are the voice that's bringing forth to you the issues that we have as veterans. Don't turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to our veterans out there. And I want to say to our James A. Haley staff that takes care of us out there, thanks for the job you do. But if you're not doing a good job, you're going to be spoken about as well.
Well, I would like to know in the end that since I've been going there, I've always liked the treatment that I've gotten. I want to know that they come out unscathed. But listen, the chips are going to fall where they fall. And you always want to root for your team. And you hope that your team is a winning team. In my heart, I feel that they're good. But then again, what I feel, the next person may not feel.
Yes.
So, we have to kind of look at, we may say, hey, it's a great place. The next guy may say it's a horrible place. So in the end, where do you come out at?
Well, you keep in mind, veterans, when you go to the hospital, and if it's not the VA hospital, you go to your local neighborhood hospital. They're not just sitting there waiting for you to walk in. There are other ill patients there waiting to be seen. So sometimes it just depends on how busy a schedule or a day is. I've gone to the VA hospital and I've had to wait some time. And there are other times I've gone to the VA hospital and my wait was just as short as 2 minutes. So it just depends on how busy the day is. But nevertheless, everyone has the right or deserve to be seen.
Well, it's the care that you get when you get there. It's the people who are taking care of you. If they take care of you and you're being seen, you're being taken care of, those to me are the important things.
Yes.
We're going to always complain about going someplace waiting. If you're in the military, you know about hurry up and wait. But at the same time, there should be a limit on hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait shouldn't be forever.
Right.
It should be just for a very short time. But we're all familiar with that. It's happened time and time again. We all know about it when it's time to get paid, time to get promoted, time to get anything done. It's a hurry up and wait thing. So listen, hurry up and wait, though, is just a phrase that we use because we know it's going to take a little time. But that little time that it takes should be a very small amount of time and not an indefinite amount of time to where, hey, it's causing people their lives.
Yes.
And on that, we'd like to say, hey, have a great week. Enjoy your memorial.
Right,
and,
a safe memorial.
We'll see you.
And to all our veterans out there, it's veterans helping veterans. And until next week, Have a blessed week.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rugged red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.